Hi everyone, it's Rebecca here from Mindstone. Just checking in for our second week of Mindstone. So as you know, the first week we started to talk about gratitude. So I want to start this video this week talking about gratitude. I just want to sum it up by saying thank you so much for all of the support that I've been getting from this channel. I'm getting a lot of people coming in, asking questions, sending me messages. We've just recently accepted another 25 members into the group, so I'm super grateful for that, super grateful for the support that we've been getting, and of course, super grateful for the impact that we're making already. So that's to sum up the week on gratitude. I'm always keeping my ears and eyes open for new topics. So for example, we were going to do mindfulness this week, but I noticed that back by popular demand, the topic should be about self-care, which is an extremely important component to recovery. We all tend to notice that with people who are suffering from depression, self-care can usually come down to the bottom of our priority list. I'd like to disclaim this by saying that self-care is something that's not selfish. There's a lot of preconceived notions that, working on yourself is something that's a selfish thing to do. It's most certainly not a selfish thing to do. In fact, it's vital for you to be very active in your self-care if you're looking to take care of anyone else. You always have to take care of yourself first. And that goes in three parts. So that's physical, mental, and emotional self-care. When you're going through depression, a lot of people will forego waking up early. They'll forego taking showers, brushing their teeth even. I know for me, it was definitely difficult for me to get up, put on makeup or shower or get my nails done or put on makeup or clean up my room or anything like that. You kind of just want to stay in bed. A lot of us, when we're dealing with mental illness, don't have a job. So a lot of the feedback that I've been getting is thank you, David, Manny, nice to see you. And just so going to self-care, I always figure the best way to start, what I like to call the snowball effect of self-care, starts with physical. So if you're already knee-deep in your depression, start off small. We always talk about working on stepping stones. So if you're going from absolutely zero self-care, make it your goal to just get up at the same time every day. So making sure that you're getting your 8 hours of sleep. So sleep hygiene is number one. It'll make sure that you have appropriate levels of energy throughout the day. It'll increase your mood. If you're having any problems with your sleep, definitely talk to your psychiatrist about medication. So one of the things, hi Steve, nice to see you. So one of the things that you can start with is just sleep. So making sure that you're getting enough sleep. Second portion of that is once you start making that your goal, you're starting to achieve your goal, you're waking up at the same time, getting your 8 hours. Next step is hygiene. So making sure that you're brushing your teeth, you're taking a shower in the morning, and you're wearing clean clothes. You would be surprised at how much of a difference that makes to your mood and your energy levels. And again, this is all a snowball effect. So as soon as you get your sleep and your hygiene, first of all, you feel better because you're clean. You're more likely to get out of the house if you feel clean and well-groomed. And then you can always build up from there, right? So going from hygiene to maybe putting on makeup or putting on nice clothes. It's amazing what can happen when you dress the part of the type of life that you want to lead. You'll start to notice that most of the people who are happiest actually take a lot of time taking care of themselves. And they're usually the happiest because they're allowing themselves that permission to give themselves the self-respect they need to self-care. So physical is definitely important, making sure you're eating well, sleeping well, exercising. All of those things will increase your mood. And once you have your mood increased, that builds into your emotional self-care. So emotional self-care, Definitely important to get out of the house. If you're feeling too anxious and depressed to deal with anyone that's outside of your social network, make sure you're connecting with your social network. Once again, the physical self-care will make you a lot more likely to look good, feel good. Exactly. Thank you, Steve. So once you look good, you're a lot more likely to stop what a lot of people would engage in, which is social isolation. Generally, when we don't look good or feel good, we don't want to connect with other people. And a lot of the time when we don't connect with other people, we fall further and further into our depression. Most people aren't even aware that we are going through depression because we isolate ourselves so much. So definitely important, physical, emotional, making sure that we're taking work into our self-esteem. So giving yourself small tasks every day will help with your self-esteem. So one of the things that I started with, very small, was doing my bed. So all I did was make sure that I wake up, I shower, I brush my teeth, and I do my bed, and I eat breakfast. That was my goal for a while before I started to build that up and start to say, okay, now that I'm doing that, I can also clean my room. I can also maybe cook a meal. I can go see friends. And slowly but surely, the snowball effect does occur. And that really contributes to your mental state as well. So physical, emotional, and mental are all intertwined. As soon as you start working on one, it starts to affect the others, and it all results to positivity. As you kind of go along. You'll also notice that a lot of people will treat you differently. So once you're actually taking care of yourself, you're a lot more likely to attract people, and the treatment that you actually receive will be much greater. A lot of the time when we're depressed, if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're actually kind of warding off other people that may actually become our friends, or even maybe part of our support network, but we're really not doing ourselves justice. We're not taking care of ourselves, which makes us less likely to be attracted to other people, which contributes to our social isolation. And there's that snowball effect that goes both positively and negatively. So one of the things that we started with right away on Mindstone was gratitude, making sure we're grateful for what we have, for who we have in our life, just to kind of add light to that darkness that we feel in anxiety and depression. And then the next step, of course, is self-care, making sure that we're keeping ourselves clean, we're keeping ourselves happy, and we're keeping ourselves healthy, so that not only do we feel better and we're more likely to attract good things in our life, but also to ensure that we are more resilient to conflict and other struggles that we may have in our lives. So always take care of yourself first. I mentioned in the last video, it's kind of like your emergency system. You always have to put on your breathing mask before you put it on anyone else. So take care of yourself. Thank you, Har El Eisenstein. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that properly. Thank you for joining me. So biggest takeaways. Number one, I'm extremely grateful for everyone that's joined today. 100% grateful for everyone that's joined in on Mindstone. And then, of course, our second piece, which is our topic for the week, which is self-care. So that is both physical, mental, and emotional. Physical, we're working on our sleep, our hygiene, our personal care. Emotional, we're working on our self-esteem by doing things that we love, and surrounding ourselves with good people. And good things that make us happy. That should be our number one priority, based on emotional self-care and mental self-care, right? So making sure that we're constantly giving ourselves credit for all the work that we are doing in the Department of Self-Care, making sure that we're appreciating ourselves. So that's threefold. 3 areas of your life that you can apply self-care. My best recommendation is to start with the physical, because usually emotional can be a little bit more difficult to navigate, especially if you don't have a system of therapy and a social network. So start with physical. You'll notice that it will affect your emotional and your mental. and take care of yourself. Your happiness and your health should be your #1 priority over anything else, including your family and friends. So start with that. Let me know also, I love to hear from everybody about how they take care of themselves and what they do to self-care and keep themselves happy and healthy. It's the most important thing that we can do, and it's certainly not selfish. It's actually one of the most generous things that you can do to anybody that you love. So much love to all of you. Maslow's hierarchy comes to mind. Yes, absolutely. 100% survival is usually at the base, and we work our way up to self-actualization. So thank you so much for pointing that out. That's definitely a common theme with self-care, is really starting from the bottom and making our goals smaller and more achievable, and then working our way up. That's how we do it here at Mindstone. We don't like to put a lot of pressure on ourselves. That usually leads to disappointment and failure. We talked a little bit about last week about it being grateful for where you're at in your life. So making sure that you're working on yourself based on your current state versus your previous state of health and your future state of health. You always want to make sure you're working on yourself for who you are now. So make sure that your goals for self-care are realistic, and they're achievable, and that you're keeping consistent with them. And the more consistent you are with them, the more credit you can give yourself for taking care of yourself. So love yourself, love your life, and definitely love yourself for loving yourself. It's part of self-care, your emotional self-care. Steve Stone, you're asking me what's Mindstone. So Mindstone is a digital platform that I've created. So what I do is I actually share my knowledge in terms of therapeutic methods and strategies that help combat generalized anxiety and depression disorder, as well as bipolar. I do have a lived experience with bipolar, anxiety, and depression. So what I do with this channel is I bestow some of the strategies that I've learned and some of the things that I've done in the past to get myself out and on my way to recovery. So it's a knowledge sharing platform. I also receive feedback from the groups and communities that I'm a part of, which really informs my sessions. So one of the biggest things that I've gotten in the past week is that there's a lot of demand for a discussion on self-care. So that's why I decided to dedicate this video to self-care. We will be going into self-care a little bit more deeply this week. So I'll be starting to talk about all the different ways that you can apply self-care, along with all the physical, emotional, and mental benefits of self-care. So thank you so much for joining. I'll leave it at that. We're definitely going to continue discussing it a little bit more. I would love to get some feedback from you guys on how you take care of yourself. I know for myself, I like to treat myself with a nice yoga session, some meditation, some healthy food, some interaction with my friends and family. So tell me how you take care of yourself. How do you keep yourself happy and healthy and moving forward? So definitely share that feedback with me. We will definitely be continuing to talk about self-care this week. Thank you again for everyone joining me. I can't show more gratitude. I can't thank you enough. So thank you so much, and continue tuning into Mindstone. Welcome, and thank you so much. Have a great week.